I must thank my team, I think, who worked tirelessly for the last many months to put up, I think, some phenomenal speakers and sessions for the 7th edition of the NIIT India Confluence.
Welcome to Goa and welcome to Confluence.
We're talking about three things here. We're talking about leadership, we're talking about talent, and we're talking of technology.
Talent part, I explained one part which we worked with the NIIT. And the NIIT was very gracious to say that yes, these people come out to run, to educate themselves, and we'll offer this. And we offer this as a partnership.
Similarly, when you have deployment of technology, you've always believed in a rapid deployment of technology, but I noticed in a very frugal manner. I remember when all of us were simple thing like a Microsoft Office suite. You decided and took a different way of introducing a Google Office in ICICI, which was a big, very bold decision at that time.
Very frankly, till the end of time, there will be no zero bias generative AI, like there will be no zero bias human beings. The deal will be, number one, to try and reduce the bias as much as possible, but more importantly, know that there is a bias, and so therefore correct for it through various methods, including human beings.
This session is about how we can put generative AI to work for L&D. AI, or generative AI more specifically, gives us the power to be more ambitious.
AI has been through many hype cycles that ended in disappointment. And so my sort of sad role at the company over the years has included bursting everyone's bubble again and again when somebody came and tried to sell us a exciting new AI tool.
And the first is the subject matter expert interaction, right? You have a smart ID, an instructional designer. They know how the learning needs to work. You have a really smart expert in a domain. They have a day job.
Everybody has mushroomed over the last 10 years. Many of them have go bang on technology very strongly. But have they really prepared the talent to create the value that each of these companies bring?
We are talking about huge. Gen AI is on one side, but you have robotics, you have AR, VR and all that, which kind of muddle together to create, a scenario which is leaving a lot of leaders confused.
It is always better because I think wealth management is the key buzzword these days in the BFSI industry. That's one which is growing by leaps and bounds. Anyone and everyone from outside India who wants to go and invest in any of these BFSI companies, they will first look at the wealth management companies who invest.
I think technology has really played its role in the sense that today the wealth management, so-called wealth management, is not only confined to the mass affluent or HNIs, UHNIs, where it makes a lot of sense for anybody to service those customers.
Asked supervisors of many relationship managers, what are some of those top skills where you would like to get your RMs improve the maximum? And what came out clearly and very strongly is handling unexpected complex customer conversations.
To have an open session question that you may have, because just last year we've been through a demerger of the two entities. So some of you are familiar with that, some may not be so familiar, as I sensed.
Then over a period of time, we found that as we added more and more training, which was done virtually, and we were doing it with careful doses because we were very concerned about the end outcome.
Organizations started figuring out that customers did not need legions of people, but they need highly skilled individuals to solve their problems.
This organization to a phenomenal progress over the years and crossed $1 billion in revenue very recently, and I think that's a great achievement for an IT services organization.
Gen AI is a transition point. I think it's going to force us to think very differently. Every time you make this orbit shift, it's also risky. You have the risk of running into trouble. So, but it is an essential requirement. So yes, I do see this current phase of next generation AI coming in as a big disruptor in the market.
We are talking about paradoxes. From your company, share any one paradox which you have navigated.
So I think one of the calibrations that we needed to do was how do we look at skills, how do we look at competencies, and how do we look at capabilities, because all these are very closely related, right?
The growth has been phenomenal, and in my entire history, in my entire career, I have never experienced this kind of a maddening growth.
Technology is literally reshaping the world, right? Everything we are doing is quite different. But even with this reshaping, we see that the human element is becoming increasingly important. You need more number of people qualified with this, skill or having the talent to fight against it. Now, how do you use technology to build that skills?
So that is where the next gen technologies like AI, ML, and Gen AI come into play, because an individual is the sum total of the experiences and the kind of scenarios that he has witnessed.
We normally spot around 20 to 30% of the people have the aspiration and the hunger to learn more.
The first step towards success is taken when you refuse to be captive of the environment in which you first find yourself.
So I've been in sales, that's what I love. I try to drive business, and my single KPI is reducing number of hours that people go through, because we are going to do too many essential trainings and all that. So again, that's where I start always. So
the auto industry generally grows at 1.5 times the speed of the GDP. If GDP is at 6%, 7%, we are growing at 9 to 10%. That's what we are witnessing for last several years.
We keep hearing that the best of the technology first comes in the Bay Area, then comes to India, then goes to tier 3 and tier 4 towns. It doesn't mean that talent came later or talent came first. Maybe in a particular geography, I think or in a particular function, there's a talent working on evolving technology. These are the researchers, these are the scientists who are evolving within labs.
So we'd like you to describe the state of the world as you see it now with this new view, and then within that the state of India.
Many of these multilateral institutions were constituted that one of the members of the Security Council will be at war, and therefore the Security Council will be frozen.
Now, as a part of our new stuff, we have included the people aspect of it.
Okay.
So as to respect and also bring out the cultural differences which will enable better project management.
I think for influencing, one needs authenticity. Authenticity requires, again, a lot of knowledge and versatility that comes with developing perspectives and thought leadership.
Difference between the AI and Gen AI, which was explained so beautifully by the experts.
Good choice of speaker and a very interesting outside-in perspective of the changes which are coming in the learning and development field, specifically use cases around Gen AI and the future of learning.
Some of the conversation, the fireside chats, sessions by industry experts, etc., have been very eye-opening, I would say.
The experience so far has been wonderful here. I have learned about many new tools in AI which I had not heard previously. For example, Sora that Mr. Jaspreet Bindra told yesterday.
This has been one of the fantastic conferences that I've attended in the recent past. One of the things that stood out was the applicability of AI through use cases. That personally was a big takeaway for me from this conference.